Hello and welcome. I'm Veronique and thank you so much for joining me today. I'm excited about today's video. Today's video is the first out of 3. I've decided to do a back to basics series. Basic eyes, basic complexion and basic skincare. I've been getting a couple of questions over the last week or so asking me, how do I look after my skin? What is a primer? How do I do a quick 5-minute eye? What the heck is a contour? And do I have to do bronzer as well? Why do you use a sponge to put your makeup on? Why don't you just use your fingers? Basic questions like that. So I thought the best way to answer questions like that would be to show you my process, how I do my eyes, how I do my complexion, and how I look after my skin. So in today's video, I'm going to be tackling the eyes and the eyebrows, and I think it's a fun one. So if you would like to see how I came up with this look, then stay tuned. Starting off with the eyes. Before we even look at makeup, let's have a squiz at the tools that you would be needing to complete a makeup look with your eyes. So when you go shopping, generally you'll find that there are lots and lots of tools that are available, lots of brushes, different shapes of brushes, and it can be quite intimidating and daunting to try and think, well, which ones should I use? So what I'll do is I will show you my 6 most favorite and most used brushes, and maybe that can help you make a decision when you go and do your shopping. So these are my little 6 here that I'm going to go through. So let's start off with the 2 of my most used brushes. So this is what you would call a blending brush. These 2 are slightly different in the sense that this one here is a natural bristle brush and this one here is synthetic. The shops that we buy our products at, the majority of the brushes that we can find are synthetic brushes. These brushes are of the brand Morphe, and Morphe brushes you can get from takealot.com, and then there are 2 other websites that you can get it off of here in South Africa, would be Muse Beauty and Shop Betty online. Those 3 are the ones that I know that I can get Morphe brushes. They are quite pricey, but they are absolutely worth their weight in gold, because you will find when you start using a good quality tool or good quality brush with your eye makeup, the blending is a lot easier to achieve. So apart from the 2 blending brushes, what I would recommend that you get is a packing brush. So this one is slightly different. You can see this is a flat guy, and what this one's job is to pick up the product from the makeup palette and then to pack it onto your eye. So you would use a tapping motion to put the product onto your eye. Then I would recommend that you get yourself an angled brush. I quite like a short, stiff bristled brush. I find I have more control with this type of a brush, and this one was a little Essence brush. Then I would also recommend that you get yourself a very small little packing brush. This one I use all the time, every single day, and I use this in my inner corner. And then also then a very small little blending brush, and this one I use for underneath my eyes. So the brush brands that I enjoy using the most would be Morphe, as well as the Cala brushes. I think I can find those ones generally at Dis-Chem, and then the Real Techniques brushes. Those are also very good, and I get those sometimes at Clicks. So those are the 3 brands that I quite enjoy. Every now and then Essence comes out with a good one, and yeah, then I will buy a nice cheap and cheerful brush from Essence. I also quite enjoy going to like the China Mall shops or China Mart, Value Mart, whatever you have in your city, and I like some of the like face brushes as well. I always look for a brush that's nice and fluffy and very soft. This is also one of the brushes that I quite enjoy using for blending and for setting underneath my eye. So that is a crash course on the tools that I use. So I think now would be a good time to get into a makeup look. Let me pin my hair back and I'm going to zoom you in. Okay, we are zoomed in nice and close. So I always start my makeup routine off with my eyes first. The reason is that oftentimes when I put my eyeshadow on, there can be a bit of fallout that happens. That's where product falls from the brush onto my face. So generally it'll deposit over here, and it's usually a shimmer product. And to try and get fallout off of foundation is very, very difficult. Generally you have to take a makeup wipe and you've got to then start all over again with your foundation. So to save me the time and the aggravation, I do my eyes first, do my cleanup, and then I put my base products on. So with my eyes first, I usually always start with my eyebrows. I like to frame my face first and then start with the eyeshadow application. Saying that though, my eyebrows are my nemesis. I really do not enjoy doing my eyebrows in the mornings. And I actually cannot believe that I'm going to be doing them for you on camera. I'm a little bit anxious, truth be told. But you know what? If I've learned something, maybe you can learn something too. So I will show you the technique that I use to fill my brows in, and maybe it helps you. I like a filled in brow look. I like my brows to look like they are full. They have lost a little bit of hairs over the years. I'm not a massive mad fan of a skinny brow for my face. I don't like how that looks. I did it once in the 90s and that was that. Let them grow back. So yeah, so that's what I enjoy. I also enjoy using a brow pencil. I like a skinny guy. The skinnier for me, the better. I like the fact that I then have got precision, that I can then draw in the brows as I like them. My favorite brow product to use is this Precisely My Brow pencil from Benefit, and I use the shade 3.5. This is a divine pencil, so it comes obviously with the pencil this side, and then it comes with a spoolie this side. So what I'm going to do, let's start. I'm going to map my brows out first. I'm going to get a little mirror so I can see what I'm doing, and you can see what I'm doing. Okay. I'm going to take my pencil, and on the side of my nose, I am going to put, and just pointing it straight up to the sky, make a dot. So that's where your brow should start. Then, to find where your arch should go, you take your pencil from the edge of your nose through the middle of the iris and make another dot at the top. Okay. The end of the brow will be the edge of my nose to the edge of my eye, there. So I've got 3 dots, 1, 2, 3, and the idea is now to join the dots. So keeping a very neutral face, I'm not going to raise my eyebrows because I don't really want a shocked expression on my face all day. I'm going to very gently just join the dots. So I'm going to start at the top, and I'm just going to come down with soft sketching strokes just to that dot there, and I'm going to make sure that my little line is where my hairs start to grow. Can you see? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil and take this dot to there. And then I want to just make sure that I follow the line a little bit to draw my tail in. So now I'm not a massive fan of a blocky eyebrow. I don't like how it looks on my face. So what I do is I will now just start my line at the top to that dot over there. And I'm going to leave this and draw in my lines separately. So you can see I have a brow that is outlined. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to very gently and slowly color inside the lines. So you want to color inside the lines here. This is about the only time where coloring in the lines is a good thing. For every other time in life, color outside the lines. Life is short. You need to make things interesting, but not with crazy brows. Alright, so I have filled that in, and that looks quite good. Oh, excuse the dog drinking the water outside the door. Welcome to the Mansfield home. Okay, brows are filled and done, and I'm just going to now just make sure that that product is nice and blended. That's about as even as I can get them. They are distant relations. They are not the sisters they are meant to be. But it is what it is. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm now going to start on my eye makeup. Before I start putting any shadow on, I like to prepare my eyelid with some concealer. I use the concealer as a base for my application. So if you have a look at my eyes, you can see that they are actually quite discolored. So when I put a concealer on, it is a nice blank canvas for any look that I want to create. So I'm going to just pop a little bit on like that. And then with a nice fluffy brush, I'm just going to blend that in. There we go. Then I'm going to set it with a bit of powder. So I'm just going to use a fluffy brush, pop that on. Just a light smattering, just to set the concealer. The reason that I set the concealer is because I want my makeup now to glide on beautifully. If it is still wet and tacky, then trying to blend eyeshadow is a nightmare. Trust me, I have tried and failed. Okay, so I'm going to do a look today, a very simple 5-minute eye look, which is like something that you could use with any palette, with any colors that you want. Generally what I do is I will go for 3 to 4 colors in a palette. I'm going to use a light color for my transition area, which on my eye is from my crease to just below my brow. My eyes are quite deep set, as you can see, so that just means that you can see quite a bit of my eyelid. If you have hooded eyes where your top of your skin here comes down a little bit more, then you would need a different type of technique in doing your makeup. So what you would do for your transition color, which I'm going to show you now, instead of putting it in your crease, you would create a false crease, if I can say it like that, where you would put your makeup just above your crease. You would start your transition color there. Now, I don't have all the tips and tricks for hooded eyes because I don't have them, but I follow 2 incredible women on YouTube. The first one is Risa Does Makeup, and she's a makeup artist. She's my age and she is phenomenal. Her makeup technique is beautiful. Then there's another lady called Angie from Hot and Flashy. She's quite a bit older than I am, but her makeup is flawless, and they both have hooded eyes. So if you are of that family, then give those girls a check out, because I mean they've got great channels. So for now, let me show you how I do my eye makeup. So I'm going to now pick up my products with my synthetic brush, and I'm going to pick up a medium to light brown. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that when I pick up my products, I'm going to pick it up with the tip of the brush like that. Okay, so the makeup is on the front of the brush. So the thing with the makeup brush is it's like a pencil. The closer you hold it to the tip, the more intense the color pay off. The further away, the lighter the color pay off. It's like if you were drawing. So now for me to get the color onto my eye, I'm going to hold it quite close to the tip, and I'm going to pop it in my crease, and I'm going to hold my brush perpendicular, if that's right. I hope that's the right word. Okay, I'm going to stamp that product in, and then what I'm going to do, moving my fingers back a bit, is I am going to now blend that product. So I don't want any harsh lines with my makeup. I want my makeup to look like a wash of color on my eyes. That is the goal. So it looks absolutely effortless. So all I'm doing now is I'm doing a windshield wiper motion, and it's very gentle. I'm not putting any massive pressure on my eye at all. So I'm not moving the skin around, it's just working as it should. Just take whatever's left and just take it out a little bit, and that looks lovely. I'm very happy with that. Okay, I'm going to deepen it up a little bit, so I'm going to do exactly the same thing, where I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to dip it in. I'm going to tap off the excess so that I don't get too much fallout, and I'm going to do that again. Close my eye, and I'm going to just put it in straight like that, and then I'm going to just blend. And I'm going to take my time. So take your time with the blending, because this is where where you can see if it's a very new person doing makeup or a person who's been doing it for the longest time. It's just generally how long they take to blend their product. So don't be in a rush. Just breathe and enjoy the process. And if you're using a good quality brush, the blending goes quite quick, like that. That's super quick. And it's nice and blended, so I can see that the color goes from like a darker color, and it just gradiates to practically nothing. That is the goal. So I'm going to take whatever's left and just put it in the corner, and one last swipe. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a dark brown. So my palette is more earthy color, so that's why I'm using the browns. But if you had a palette with greens and what have you, you could take a lovely dark green, and you could pop the dark green now where I'm going to do the brown. You could do a purple, you could do a gray, or you could do anything really. Black, if you wanted to do a nice smoky color, you could. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my flat packing brush, and I'm going to dip it in and get my product on. I'm going to tap off the excess, and then this brush, I'm not going to use the same motion as I just did. I'm going to just pat the product onto my eye, and I'm just going to put it on the last third, the corner of my eye. Just pat it in like that. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit more because I want to make sure that it's a little bit deeper over here. Okay, so I'm not going to leave it like that. I'm going to take my blending brush that I've just used, and here's a little tip. Keep a bit of paper towel on your desk, and in between your color applications, you just clean your brush like that. It's a nice way to just use one brush, I suppose. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to very gently blend. So I don't want any harsh lines. I just want it to seamlessly blend into my crease. And take as long as you want with this step. That looks pretty nicely blended. Let me look. Yeah, that looks lovely. I think I am going to deepen that just a little bit with my brown, my lash line like that. And then blend again. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a shimmer shade. I am addicted to shimmer. I love shimmer on the eyes. It's my most favorite thing to put on my eyeballs. And in fact, I was reading an article the other day, and I don't know who it was. They were talking about, when you get to a certain age, you should stay away from glitter and shimmer. And I'm like, what the heck? Because that is not my truth. Life is too short to be boring. No, one must shimmer. One must have glitter. So I'm going to take a lovely shimmer that is in the palette, any shimmer. I'm going to take that shimmer and I'm going to put it on my finger. Because I find that the shimmer products, then you get a bit of a better color payoff with your shimmer product. And I have a bit more control. So taking my shimmer product, I'm now going to just pop it onto my eye, and I'm going to make sure I go over the area where I put the brown, just the transition side of that. I'm going to pull my eyelid a bit, make sure I can get it as close to my inner corner as possible. Okay, my nails are long, so it's not going to work to get my finger all the way there, but you can see what I've done there. And what you can also see is that I have some fallout over here, which is normal and it's fine. All I'm going to do when I'm finished is wipe it off and put my foundation on. So we're Gucci. Okay, I like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now take my blending brush and I'm just going to blend those colors all together. So I can't see where one color starts and the other color finishes, if that makes any sense. My last color I'm going to put on, I'm going to take my little packing brush and I'm going to take the lightest shimmer in my palette. If your palette doesn't have a very, very light shimmer, what I would recommend then is using your highlighter for the inner corner of your eyes, because then it just makes your eyes look bright and awake. And at this phase of life, any tip and trick to look bright and awake is most welcome, because if you are perimenopausal like I am, sleep. Who is she? She's a distant friend. Okay. So in the inner corner it goes, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to just bring that light color up to the first shimmer just to blend it in. Okay. Last little step is I'm going to take a nice light shade. I'm going to tap off my excess. I'm going to pop that underneath my brow to give my brow a little bit of a lift. And also just to blend the color that was at the top. A little bit more of the light. And I'm going to just bring it in to the corner of my eye here. I'm not going to take away from the shimmer that I've just put there, but I just want to lighten that inner corner. And there we go. Quick and easy. It's not complicated at all. I'm going to quickly do the other eye, and then I'll show you how I do the underneath of my eyes. Alright, eyes are done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how I do the lower lash line. Usually what I do is I will do my base products first with the concealer and the powder, and then my finishing touch will be doing the under eyes. But because I'm not doing my concealer now, that's another video, let's just finish off the eye look. So I'm now going to take my little angled brush, and I'm going to take the same dark color brown that I used in my outer corner, and I am going to just from about the middle of my eye back, I'm going to join that color. I found since I've aged a bit, I do not wear a dark line underneath my eyes anymore. I find it just draws too much attention to the fine lines that are underneath there, and for me personally, it just ages me. So this is now my newest technique that I do. So I'll take my little mirror, let me get that so I can see up close what I'm doing, and I look down at the mirror, and I will then take my powder and stamp it underneath my eye. Just like that. Okay, so not a massive amount of powder, just a little bit. What my goal is that I together like that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tiny little brush, and I'm going to dip it into the color that was my transition color, and I'm now going to blend this harsh line because I don't want the harsh line. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to look down, and I am going to blend that color just to the front. So my last step would be mascara. So what I usually do beforehand, before I put my mascara on, is I will curl my lashes with an eyelash curler. I found this one at Clicks, and I quite like the color, I like the rose gold of it all. What I do, which is a little bit different, is I make sure that I warm up this part of the lash curler. So either I will warm it up with a lighter, which I keep in my room for my candles, but if you are going to warm up your lash curler with a lighter, please make sure that you dampen it with your hand so that you do not put that hot metal on your eye, because it burns, let me just tell you. Or what you can do is you can, while you're doing your makeup, is you can put your eyelash curler somewhere on your body, like in a pocket or something like that, so that it warms up. And the reason why I do that is that the curl is better when you curl your lashes, when this little goodie is a little bit warm. So it's very simple to use. If you've never used one, just go very slowly and very gently. All you're going to do is you're going to look down, you're going to take your eyelash curler, and what you're going to do is you're going to put your lashes in there. Do not go too close to your lash line, because that pulls and that can be quite sore. Okay, so just go slowly, and then you are going to just curl like that. So I just go 1, 2, I count to like 20, and then you let go, and then I do it one more time. And I like to pulse it a little bit, because if I hold it there, then it ends up looking like a weird L shape, and that doesn't look very flattering for me. Okay, let's do the other side. So you just pulse it. And don't pull it away from your eye while you're doing that, because that could be quite sore. Okay, so those girls are lifted and curled and ready for some mascara. So I'm going to use my favorite one, which is the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. This is such a lovely mascara. It's nice and black. I like that. It doesn't flake off during the day, and it pretty much stays put during the day. It does transfer a tiny little bit. I have very oily eyelids, but it's nominal. It's not like you've got massive black lines that you look like a zebra at the top of your eyeball. Not eyeball, eyelid. So my technique for putting mascara on is just to close my eye and wiggle the wand up so that I get a good deposit by the lashes or the lash line, so they look a lot fuller. And just take your time and go slowly. It's not a mad rush, unless you only have 5 minutes. Then it is a mad rush. Then good luck. Okay, mascara is done. So the very last thing that I'm going to do on my eyes is I'm going to set my eyebrows. So I like to brush my brows up, and I like to set them up. I just think for me it just makes everything look lifted and awake, and I really do enjoy the Schwarzkopf Got to Be Glued eyebrow gel. It's so handy. It comes in a little like a mascara tube. You can use it for flyaway hairs or your eyebrows. And it works very, very well. Its staying power is quite incredible actually, and it's very easy to use. I like to just take quite a bit of the excess off of the brush, otherwise it does get a little bit cakey and goes a little bit grey, so that's why I quite clean the brush. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to brush my brow hairs up like that. If you were looking for a high-end setting gel for your eyebrows, Benefit does an incredible one. Absolutely stunning. Very nice one. So there we go. Those guys will stay in place until I wash them off tonight. Well, that's it. So that is my eye look. So now you can do a quick 5-minute eye. I'd love to hear how it goes. And you also know what tools you can use. I'm just picking up my tools to show you my lovely tools to use. So one thing you need to make sure that you do with your brushes is that you clean them. I have a very dear friend, you know who you are, who has never washed her brushes in years. I was horrified when I found out, and I'm like, bring them to me, I will wash them for you, which I duly did. It took a very long time to get all that product out, but nonetheless they now look nice and clean. That's just 2 cents worth. So when you clean your brushes, you can get little goodies like this, or bigger goodies like this. This one is a very well used one and very stained, apologies for that. But I find these little mats, I found them at like the China Mall, or Dis-Chem have got them, Clicks have got them, pretty much everywhere's got them. I think I've even saw them at Pick and Pay. But once a month or so, clean your brushes. You can use normal soap. I used a Dove soap that's got some antibacterial in it, and it just keeps the bristles very, nice and clean. Just make sure when you clean them that you just very gently go around in a very circular motion. You do not want to push your brushes that the brushes splay out, otherwise you've ruined your brushes. So just go gently, but keep them clean. You know what I'm saying? Because you want good, healthy eyes. So we can do more and more eye looks together. Okay? Good. Hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And while you're there, ring the bell, because I have another Back to Basics video coming on our base and foundation products. And yeah, so I think you want to watch that one. It's going to be a good one. But for now, that's it from me. I will see you in the next one. Bye.